This week's eShop sale is a winner in my eyes, so today I'm going to be guiding you through 13 of my top picks covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. As usual then as well, I'll be announcing the winners of two $10 eShop gift cards later in the video. Then I do have two more up for grabs to enter. Simply drop a comment down below and I'll announce the winners in next Saturday's video. Alright, look, if you do enjoy this video as well, do me a favour, subscribe. That helps out the channel a huge amount. And if you can like the video too, even better. Alright, let's dive into today's deals. Call to the Lamb quickly became a fan favourite, and while it may not be perfectly optimised for the Switch, expect some frame rate issues, the core concept is great fun. It's a blend of roguelike and colony builder where you control a possessed lamb tasked with building a cult. You're going to be gathering resources, battling enemies, performing rituals and caring for followers, all with the ultimate goal of becoming a god. This one, it's no walk in the park. As a warning, maintaining your followers and managing rituals gets surprisingly challenging, but I do think with this one at 50% off a new low price, it is well worth it, and it recently received a new update which introduced local multiplayer as well. Now, I can't say I've had a chance to play the update myself, but if you have, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. SIGNALIS was a real surprise, and if you like your classic survival horror games, you should absolutely be adding this one to the library. With a 30% discount, then it's not a massive price drop, but it is matching the low price. And this one, it follows the journey of Auster, a technician, searching for her lost partner in a dystopian future. The atmosphere here, though, is stunning, and the gameplay is solid. It's one of those experiences where you'll always be low on inventory items, which is kind of the backbone of the tension. It even surprises, occasionally it switches from the isometric perspective to a first-person viewpoint, and that works surprisingly well for the narrative. Overall then, look, it is horror-themed. I wouldn't say the game is particularly scary, if that is a concern, but it is a lot of fun, even if the story does admittedly get a little too complicated for its own good occasionally. Find my full review in the pinned comments. Ghost Song is a Metroidvania-inspired gem that throws you into an alien world, the setting a moon filled with secret chambers, winding tunnels and labs, all packed with hidden secrets at every turn. Now you play as a newly awakened entity in a desolate suit and will find yourself squaring off against a host of fungal enemies, alien metal husks and more. Now thankfully you are armed with weapons and can unlock new abilities as you do journey forward. I just really like the combat with this one. Rapid fire ranged attacks mixed with melee options, it just feels really satisfying. Additionally, the cast of characters you meet each have their own unique stories filled with themes of survival, courage, abandonment and redemption. This one is something special in my opinion, and right now it's 40% off, matching the low price. 1000 Resistance is a game I only played recently. I picked it up at launch, just finally made the time for it, but what an incredible game it is. Now story-wise, I'm going to be sticking to the eShop description, but in the near future, giant alien entities known as the Occupants arrive, bringing with them a lethal disease that wipes out humanity, except for a teenage girl named Iris. Now, a miracle of some sorts, but Iris is immune and becomes immortal. Now, 1,000 years later, Iris has created a society of her clones living in safety. It is wild stuff, and think here, heavy dose of narrative, and then a dash of adventure, horror, and walking sim. It is a gem though, and I have a review dropping for the game this week on the channel because I absolutely have to cover it. Right now then, it's 20% off, matching the low price. Alright, a quick shout out then, which is gaming related but a little different than usual, but I had to feature this, and that is Lost in Cult just announced a book celebrating 25 years of Grasshopper, so Suda51, and I actually featured this in yesterday's trailer reaction video, and I got a few messages asking about it, so I wanted to call it out again. Now this isn't a sponsorship first of all, nor am I getting any sort of kickback or anything, but I've been backing Lost in Cult since issue 1, and what they basically do is think the rebirth of the paper magazine, but with incredible writing, and I'd consider it almost more essays if anything. Now though, they are tackling Suda51 with a special dedicated release, including exclusive interviews, artwork, posters, just all sorts going on here. Now if you don't know Suda51 or Grasshopper, think No More Heroes, Killer 7, Shadows of the Damned and more gems. If I was to pick a studio's brain, this is the one for me. In fact, Lollipop Chainsaw comes from them, and that launches on the Switch very soon. It's getting a remake, which I am absolutely psyched for. Anyways, look, if you want to check it out, they've got everything from a paperback version to a deluxe edition that comes in its own case, and the first 1,000 of those are signed by Suda51 himself. This is the sort of thing that gets me excited, so maybe check it out while it's on offer. It's 400 pages of goodness. I'll link it down below, and I'm just hoping I can secure a job personally before pre-orders end on October 18th. Warm Snow is back then, matching its low price with 40% off. This roguelike game tasks you with saving a world transformed by never-ending snow. As the title suggests, this snow is warm and magical, turning the population into monsters, setting the stage for your adventure. And the core gameplay here involves slaying these monsters, collecting new weapons and power-ups, and then adding permanent upgrades to your character. I was really impressed by its visual style, the weapons, and the fighting techniques, all of which feel unique. And this one flew under the radar for many, so do not miss out. I actually hope we see a continuation of some sort in the future, and you can find my review in the pinned comment. Ys 9 Monstrum Nox is an action RPG that follows the journey of Adol as he is cursed and transformed into a monstrum, a being with the power to fight monsters. Your main objective is to escape the city while battling through this adventure. Really enjoyed the story with this one, and you can find my full review in the pinned comment, which I highly recommend if this summary today piques your interest. However, it is important to note here that the frame rate on the Switch often struggles, making this a, let's say, recommendation with some reservations. Basically, if you have alternative options available, meaning you own other platforms, you might want to consider those first. Right now though, it's a new low price, 55% off, and RPG fans, take a look. The series in general is just fantastic. Dead Cells Medley of Pain is a standout game for those who love intense side-scrolling action with tough combat and challenging boss encounters. Just this week, the developers dropped the final free update packed with a ton of new content. Now, if you're curious to learn more about that, check out once again my new weekly series where I round up all of the week's Switch trailers. It's kind of like a direct, but it's not. I'll link it down below. But yeah, this bundle anyway, look, currently it's 40% off, matching the low price. It's just truly a gem of a bundle. It's the base game, 4 massive DLCs, including the impressive Castlevania crossover, which, like the rest of them, added new weapons, levels, and music. And like, if you haven't played this, I don't know what you're doing. Everyone should at least try it. It is an absolute masterpiece. SCHiM then was a recent release that I reviewed here on the channel. I'll link the video below. Now this will be for those that want a relaxed puzzle experience that asks you to control a lost shadow platforming their way home. Really enjoyed it generally. I thought the setup was unique, and while the controls take a little while to get used to, they work well. Now look, granted, I will admit here, the story frustrated me personally. We were chasing someone when we could simply stay still at home, wait for them to come back, you know, if common sense was a factor. But I think that was mainly a me issue, picking holes in an otherwise unique experience. It's 30% off a new low price. White Day, a Labyrinth named school, gets a new low price here with 60% off. This first-person horror game impressed me for the most part. Sure, it can be a bit over-reliant on the same jump scare, but an empty school always makes for a creepy setting. And in this game, you'll be fending off demons, ghosts, a couple of particularly nasty janitors, and just all sorts. It's a game of basically running and not fighting back. I really enjoyed the story though, and if you didn't know, White Day is Valentine's Day, and the plot involves returning to school to leave a card in someone's locker, only to find yourself trapped with all sorts of, let's say, weirdness occurring around you. It is worth noting this is actually a remaster as well. When it first launched, it was considered one of the scariest games out there by today's standards. I'd say it's pretty tame. Honestly, I'm a whip myself, I handled it easily. But it came to mind this week because I just started playing the sequel on PC. Capes is now at a new low price with 25% off. This turn-based superhero strategy game lets you build a team of heroes and fight to reclaim a dystopian city where superpowers are now a crime. Basically what happened is 20 years ago the supervillains won, transforming the city into a place of oppression. Here expect main missions, side missions, team building, team-based tactics goodness, upgrades, and of course a whole host of challenges. The only complaint I will say is not the best looking game on the system. But look, honestly, I had fun, and if you like XCOM like me, this is worth a look. It's also worth noting as well, smaller discount, but it's also a relatively new release. Our winners of the week then, I'm bundling them together this week. It's Seismon and Algeboo. Congrats on the win both. Drop me an email to claim your code, and everyone else drop a comment down below for your chance in next week's video. And now for the final games on our list, Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4. These two titles, bundling them together because they're both hitting new low prices with incredible discounts. So for Trails of Cold Steel 3, you'll get 60% off. This was my entry point into the series, and it hooked me so much that I revisited the first 2 entries on other platforms. It's unusual for a game to drive me backwards in a series, but the world building and character development here, just incredible. Then while it's not the most visually stunning game, the narrative and the massive cast of well-written characters just absolutely make up for it. You here follow Reen Schwarzer transitioning from a combat school instructor to a participant in a full-scale war. Even if you skip the first 2, the third installment as well does a decent job at recapping the essentials. Then Trails of Cold Steel 4 also gets 60% off, marking a new low price. I'd strongly advise against jumping straight into the 4th game if you haven't played the previous ones. The series' strength really lies in its storyline. You'd miss out on the plot and character development that builds up over time. Incredible games though. If you consider yourself an RPG fan, these are must-plays. You can find both of my reviews in the pinned comment. And that is the video done. Will you be checking out any of these games this week? Let us know in the comments. If you have any recommendations of your own right now as well, it's a big sale. Love to hear them too. A shout out then to the patrons and the channel members who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals, news and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.